Motobe claims when speaking of someone who craves for strength the most, there is only one individual who stands above all others. It isn't Baki Hanma, not even Yujiro Hanma, as they don't crave for it. It is the one and only Jack Hanma, the man most starved for strength of anyone on this earth. As such, we are beginning the Jack arc. Peak has arrived. With these lines pretty much representing Jack's character ever since his introduction. Of course, we have his steroid abuse showing a prime example of this, but first let's take a look at Jack Hanma's flashback to see where this monster actually came from. This is what he looked like in his skinny, frail body, but take a guess how long he's been at this boxing training. According to someone, 12 hours. He's just been here going in non-stop, with nothing being able to stop him, including someone slicing him up with a knife. Jack doesn't care, not even noticing what's being done to him, continuing to train for one thing, craving for power. With this being what Jack would have actually done for the remainder of his life until he died, continued to train seeking after power. However, he got lucky with this doctor approaching him, telling him, "Let me help you." The beginnings of Jack consisted of the world's frailest man who does the world's hardest training. Then if you add on top these super steroids, we get him evolving into this, on top of many more years of abuse, multiple height extending surgeries, and a new set of titanium teeth. This is how we've arrived to current Jack Hanma in Baki Dow of 2023. Now, before I continue, make sure to subscribe for more Baki content. I'm releasing weekly videos on Baki until the anime releases in July this year. The Pickle arc, where we get to see Jack vs Pickle and the greatness that provides. So stay tuned on the channel. Let's continue. So the question on everyone's mind is, out of everyone Jack recently called out, who is he going to fight first? In the most recent Baki Dow chapter, we see a sparring match between Gaia and Kaito. Gaia, of course, is one of the fighters being called out by Jack, and Kaito, not being called out, has been a character since early days in Baki, hasn't really had any notable fights since the likes of Dorian in the Most Evil Death Row Inmates arc. Yes, some sparring matches and some things here and there, but that is, I guess, his last main fight in the whole series, unfortunately. With this fight pretty much being a draw, Gaia was able to land his headbutt. However, Kaito was able to land this kick, and you can even say Kaito came out on top in this sparring match due to Motobe's statement here, which is kinda not looking good for Gaia. For a while now, he's been training under the likes of Motobe. However, if he's going to fight Jack, Gaia being on this level won't really assist him whatsoever. It will most likely be a stomp, so it feels bad for him. Even if you look back at his reaction, Gaia was more so stunned rather than anything else, with a lot of the other fighters being more so excited. With Motobe being the one who explains to them Jack Hanma's craving for strength and what he's willing to do to actually achieve his goals. Pretty much preparing them for their fight, or preparing Gaia at least for what he's actually coming against, and I guess also mentally preparing himself, as Motobe understands Jack since having his fight against him in the Musashi arc, freaking out due to Jack's unwillingness to give up. For an example, Jack was sliced up multiple times. When he was unleashing a fury of strikes, Motobe unleashed like a flashbang or a smoke grenade directly on him. That didn't actually stop Jack, which kinda mind broke Motobe a little bit. Look at these panels here, man is absolutely freaking out. Only being able to get rid of Jack after kicking him away and then following up with more weapons and tying him up. Motobe even claimed in this fight, when it comes to physical abilities, he pretty much stands no chance and needed his prep, needed all of his weapons to take down that version of Jack. Now Jack has returned stronger, at the same height, but stronger, and then most importantly, his newfound martial art and overall fighting style being much more lethal. If I had to place my bets on the order the fights are going to occur, I think the first one will be Gaia due to this training chapter, and him most likely being the weakest in the group. Then I guess it's going to be Doppo, as he's already kinda had his warm-up match against Sumo in defeating Keiha. Then the person who's actually surpassed Doppo, his son Katsumi. With these three being the only ones out of the people he called out, he hasn't actually faced before, apart from Katsumi in that spin-off or special chapter done by this manga author, where we get to see both of them fight one another and it ending in a draw, but that isn't canon to the actual series. So these three as I guess new types of fights for Jack, and then on to the 3 rematches, most likely beginning with Goki, who Jack was able to defeat in the Maximum Tournament. So Goki is more so the one getting revenge, but of course he's an absolute demon as well. Then Motobe, who most recently defeated Jack in the Musashi arc. This is definitely a main goal for Jack, even though there's various signs, as I mentioned earlier in the video, that Jack is overall stronger than the likes of Motobe, and especially now with his recent improvements, with us not being able to really identify improvements from Motobe since that arc. Of course, he most likely will come up with some crazy stuff, but still, I'm definitely expecting Jack to be far better than Motobe. And then, probably the most wanted fight, or second most wanted fight to see again, is him against his brother, Baki Hanma. We've seen what Baki did to Sukune, he's definitely worthy as like the top 1, top 2 fighters in the whole series. And then, of course, Jack's main goal with all of this is to defeat Yujiro Hanma. His overall goal since his introduction, similar to his brother. Will he get that chance? I'm hoping he does. And I also wonder if we're going to actually see his mother. If you don't know, she actually appeared at the end of Grappler Baki when Jack was taken out by Yujiro, being the one who called the emblems to actually save Jack from, I guess, bleeding out. She hasn't made an appearance since then, with Baki actually seeing what she looks like. So her making a return could be pretty interesting, as Jack's whole want to take out Yujiro probably stems from what Yujiro did to his mother, with the whole goal being revenge. But peak Baki could be arriving now, as this arc has now officially begun. Also, considering the anime is coming out in July, with of course the Pickle arc, let's just hope he returns to the manga around the same time. Maybe like as the anime drops, the new chapter comes out where we have the arrival of Pickle in the manga, and maybe even a Jack rematch with him. That would be very smart marketing, and you know, I think we all want to see that. I wonder whose perspective we're going to see during this arc. Based on this chapter and how we're focusing on Motobe and some of the others training, I get the sense he may be just the antagonist, where we focus on all the other fighters preparing for their fight with Jack, and then once it occurs we switch between the two. Of course, I would honestly prefer it to be Jack, but I don't really know how much we could actually spend with him. He's most likely just training. Seeing what the other characters are doing to prepare for Jack would be more interesting, and then when the fights do actually occur, we cut between both perspectives. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. But that's really everything I want to talk about in today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Check out all the other stuff in the description if you haven't already. That's it guys. Peace.